Hello, this is wmpyr back again with another martial arts philosophy that you can use. In this video, I want to talk about the concept of being humble. So to me, being humble is an important part of martial arts training and philosophy. I feel like one should constantly work at trying to become humble. It's not that it's a status that you achieve and then once you're there, you're set and you're good. No, it's something that you constantly have to work on. All right, even in terms of combat, being humble is beneficial. So if we look at the opposite, which is being arrogant, if you're arrogant, you could end up underestimating your opponent. And obviously, we know that is a bad thing. If you're arrogant, chances are you're not going to own up to your own mistakes. Therefore, it's going to be very difficult for you to improve and also fix the areas of your weakness. And obviously, not owning up to your mistakes and also your weak areas, that's going to leave you with holes in your strategy. Also, consider this: the more arrogant you are, the further away you drift from reality, and you end up in a world where you are the king. It's like this fantasy world where you are undisputed, undefeated, you're number one. You are the center. And, you know, if you don't have a realistic perspective and you have this fantasy world that's you constantly live in, this can also be very, very dangerous because you're setting yourself up for a rude awakening. A quick example I could give you is someone like, let's say, in a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school, he's physically stronger than everybody else there, so he could muscle and powerhouse everybody there. So he's feeling like he's a big fish in a small pond. The problem with that is if he goes into the world market or if he ends up in a street fight, there might be a chance where he meets someone who's just as physically imposing as he is, but then if they had actually worked on skill and strategy, then because he was relying so much on his, how strong he is, and he's enjoying that instead of developing the skills in class, he's going to once again rely on his strength and his muscle and stuff. And then he meets a guy who actually went the extra mile and developed skill. He's going to have a rude awakening that way. And the problem with that is obviously you don't want your rude awakenings to happen in the street or in a real life situation where basically it could cripple you for life. All right, so the bottom line is, so how can we exercise or practice being humble in the martial arts? One of the things that I do is when I communicate with somebody about martial arts is that when I'm expressing my opinion, I say that in my opinion, or in my point of view, or in my style, this is how we do it. You see what I'm saying? So I make sure that this is my opinion versus someone that is going to say, this is the way it is. This is fact. You see what I'm saying? They're confusing their opinion with the real world. So in their eyes, their opinion equals the real world. So that's when you can end up becoming what I said, the arrogant ruler of this fantasy kingdom where you are the centerpiece. And that's exactly what we don't want. So to become humble, you have to remove yourself from that. How many martial arts instructors can you see on YouTube where they're going to say stuff like, if someone comes at you with a knife, you need to do this. This is the way. This is the only way that's effective. Everything else is bullcrap. This is what you need to do. They talk like that rather than the way that I've trained, from my opinion, from my experience, what my students and I have been developing. This has been a high percentage for us. This is what has been good for us. Not like that. They're like, this is what you need to do, And that may not seem like a huge difference, but making the difference there is, from my opinion, actually quite big. So I recommend to you, when you get on YouTube, and it's a great venue where you could actually communicate. You could write messages to the person who made the video, or also on forums. I usually don't get on forums because it's, from my experience, just has been a little too nasty. So I stay away from the forums. But on the YouTube community, when I receive comments and stuff, one of the things that I do is I look at the person that is responding back to me. So if they're making a very, very strong statement like that, where I can tell that in their mind, their opinions and fact is one and the same. They don't know the difference right there. Okay, so I don't want to say they have a God complex. It may not be that bad, but they're so not used to practicing what I'm saying right here, where you keep your opinions and the facts separate. They're not used to practicing that. Okay, so that's one of the things that I check. Another thing I do is I actually will click on the name and visit their YouTube channel and see how many videos have they made. Is there anything about their background that they explain and stuff like that? And if none of that is there, they don't have a website, nothing like that, then the credibility becomes smaller. Okay, that's just the way it is. Who knows? This person may be special forces, you know, lived in the most dangerous cities and survived that, and who knows? Who knows? You know. But as far as what they're saying to me in a public venue, all right, they're not giving out any information, so the credibility has to become lower. The other thing is how they're writing, right? What they're saying, how eloquent is it put? How detailed is it? Does this person seem like they know what they're talking about? So those I'll also take into factors. But at the end of the day, it really comes down to, like, if you're a UFC fighter and you just fought a match and it was a big match, a lot of people were watching, and you lost. You come home and you get on the internet and there's going to be a ton of people telling you what you should have done, where you screwed up and all this. Most of those are probably bullcrap. Okay, most of those people have no idea what they're talking about. They shouldn't be opening their mouths. So if you pay attention to all that, it could be very confusing. It could be hurtful. It could be a lot of things. So you can't distract yourself like that. What you have to do is you have to prioritize those kinds of opinions that are coming to you. So this is all I'm saying. Prioritize the opinions. And one of the things to do is, not only am I prioritizing what other people are saying to me so that I can not get confused with all this jumbo mumbo and people that, you know, are opening their big mouths and stuff, because those are the ones you kind of tend to look at, but they actually don't deserve any of your attention. You know, to separate all the bullcrap from that, you know, you prioritize it, but also at the same time, you apply that to yourself. That's also being humble, all right? Because if you do it to other people and you don't do it to yourself, then that's not fair. So you have to apply it to yourself and say, who am I? You know, what the hell am I? And you have to then put it down in a way where you're not saying, this is the way it is. What am I? Am I special forces that have, you know, used a knife and killed like 20 people? No, I'm not that person. So anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.